Hey, let's check in on the investigation into that time the former president unleashed a violent mob of reactionaries to stop the electoral vote count in a desperate bid to stay in power. Normal stuff happening in our democracy factory, friends. The longest prison sentence yet was handed down to someone involved in the January 6th Capitol riot. Guy Reffitt, a member of the far right Three Percenters militia in Texas, was given a more than 7-year sentence after being convicted on 5 felony charges in March. Reffitt was one of the rioters who were armed that day. He stormed the Capitol with a firearm on his hip. According to messages, Reffitt said he intended to, quote, remove lawmakers, and he later told his 2 teenage children not to turn him in, threatening that traitors would get shot. Reffitt's daughter, though, after the sentence was announced, called for former President Trump to go to jail too, for life.
To mark my dad as this horrible person, and then having him prosecuted like this when somebody is maybe even able to get elected again, doesn't seem right to me.
Trump deserves life in prison if my father's in prison for this long.
Now, look, I don't root for the cops and I don't root for people to go to jail. But as long as they're there, if anyone should be sent to prison for their role on January 6th, it's Donald Trump. But that will ultimately be left up to the Justice Department, which is headed by the coward Merrick Garland. Also deserving of legal scrutiny are those involved in what really looks like a cover-up on January 6th within the government, and one that goes pretty deep. First, there's the Secret Service, which reportedly wiped internal communications from that day. Department of Homeland Security Inspector General has now been implicated too. The January 6th Congressional Committee accused his office of withholding information about the deleted messages for more than a year and actually taking steps to cover up that cover-up. The committee wrote in a letter to Inspector General Joseph Cuffari that it had, quote, grave new concerns over his lack of transparency and independence, which appear to be jeopardizing the integrity of a crucial investigation run by his office. Lawmakers called on Cuffari to step aside. Top leadership in Trump's Department of Homeland Security, including Acting Secretary Chad Wolf and his deputy Ken Cuccinelli, also wiped their phones of evidence from January 6th. And now it's reported that so did Defense Department officials. In response to a Freedom of Information Act request, the Pentagon claimed that phones belonging to individuals involved in the decision to send National Guard troops to the Capitol also had their phones wiped of any communications from that day. So basically, all evidence of communication among top Trump officials across various departments has been destroyed. I'm sure it's nothing. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice and the January 6th committee are still finding new veins of evidence to tap into. On Wednesday, a federal grand jury investigating the riot and reportedly Trump's involvement in it subpoenaed the former president's White House lawyer, Pat Cipollone. And the January 6th committee is said to be trying to acquire the texts and emails of Trump ally and professional liar and crank, Alex Jones. Funny story about those texts and emails. They were discovered by lawyers representing the families of Sandy Hook victims who are in court right now suing Alex for defamation over his years-long crusade to convince people that the shooting was a false flag and the parents and kids were crisis actors. And it appears that Alex Jones's own lawyers accidentally sent the trove of communications to the opposing counsel. Here's the moment that was revealed in court on Wednesday.
So you did get my text messages, and it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Indeed. You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then...
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened.
You know, some might call that bad lawyering, but it's tremendous content. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.